Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another video. All right, y'all, back with this quick discussion video here. I just wanted to talk about Roxanne Modafferi one more time as far as, her calling it quits and why she's calling it quits. And, this relates to a lot of fighters out there, fighters that need to know when it's time to hang it up, when, fighters that need to know when to have an end game, just to be on the safe side when it comes to your health, because as we know, the fight game is a young man, young woman sport. And the longer you stay in it, and the longer you take punishment, that could lead to a shorter life. So Roxanne Modafferi, as y'all know, she has a fight coming up in February against Casey O'Neill, and she said this is going to be her last fight, her 50th fight. And I was watching the interview again, and just listening to her, kind of talk about the fight. Like I said, it didn't really have anything to do with her being content with money or her just going on a losing streak and just saying, "Oh, I'm quitting." It actually had to do with her health. She said that in training, she's been feeling other things now, like as far as, feeling different, when she's taking punches, she's starting to feel, she's starting to get headaches, so she was just kind of like, okay, I'm up at mileage now. If you can't train the way you used to or take these type of blows in training, it might be time to call it quits, right? So, real quick, let me just pull up the interview here. She just said this, I felt like punches and blows to the head in training were affecting me more than they used to. Like when I tried to push through it, I get a headache afterwards. And I was like, oh, no, we can't do that. My brain health is really important. So I started wearing headgear. She said, I'm good at taking punches in a fight. I just realized, all right, I'm getting up there with my mileage. Now's probably a good time to stop. I don't want to start having any concussion symptoms. I want to stop before that starts happening because I've heard some people who, even before they turned pro, had to retire. So I just want to be super careful with my brain health, and reaching 50 fights seems like a really good achievement for me. So, yeah, I mean, I've heard people say that before, where they were sparring and they would get these bad headaches, even just like around like local gyms, I've been to, like fighters that aren't even professional. Sometimes when they would spar, I would watch them, they'd be like, oh, I got a headache, after. And I'd be like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, so hopefully she's attacking it now, by retiring, but but she's still getting those headaches. So getting those headaches, we don't know what that could lead to in the future, right? But I mean, nothing's really happened to her in the octagon. So, hopefully this is this will solve that problem, just stopping the headaches and, not getting any like long-term brain damage. But you never know, because like some fighters who age after taking punishment throughout their career from throughout their 30s, their brain, it takes a longer time to heal, when they get into like their middle ages. And that's when you start to see some of these fighters with like slurred speech, like the slurred speech that some fighters don't come on until they're like in their 50s and 60s. So we never know. But I mean, she's doing the right thing, in my opinion, just to go ahead and attack it now and say, okay, I'm done. Because some fighters, they'll just ignore the headache. They won't even tell you they have a headache. They'll just continue, fighting through the pain because that's what they got to do. But I have to say, look, this is a message for all fighters right now. A lot of fighters right now, they have to know when it's time to leave the game. Because like I said, this ain't a sport. Boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, whatever it is, these aren't like long-term like careers. They have to know that this is, like I said, a young person sport where you have to have sort of a game plan and a goal that you want to achieve all played out. It's just like school. That's why I keep comparing like fighting to school, because it's just like a temporary setup. It's a temporary job, just like school is temporary. You go to school, high school, 9th grade to 12th grade, and that's it, right? Then you move on. So you have to have an outside plan. You have to have a plan outside of that, right? Same comes with fighting. When you come into the fight game, you have to say, okay, why am I doing this? And when am I gonna get out, and what do I want to get out of it? So I think a lot of these fighters out there that just continue to fight on and on, they just get so comfortable with it because the checks are coming in, and they let the bright lights kind of infatuate them, but they're not thinking of their health in the long run. So somebody like Roxanne, who felt that scare coming on with the headaches, she's attacking it now. But, this is advice to fighters even before they get a headache, just to go ahead and say, look, I don't want to be a career fighter. I want to have fun with this. I want it to be my career for now in my youth. But then eventually, I want to move on to something else where I don't have to take blows to the head. You have to kind of get out of that mode. Like some fighters get in love with fighting, not so much the martial arts. They just want to go in there and blow off steam, and they just want to put on that performance and entertain the crowd. But it's not all about the crowd, because I'd be telling people all this all the time. Like the fight game, the fans, They love you when you're spilling blood, spilling your own blood, spilling somebody else's blood. But when you're in a wheelchair or you're a vegetable, they're not sending no money to you. They're not donating money to you. Why do you think a lot of these fighters who are, laid up now, half blind, brain damage, why do you think a lot of these fighters are in the condition they're in, or bad off financially, or having to ask for money because their fans don't give anything to them? Like, imagine if their fans did. Like, imagine if some of these fighters that wound up in wheelchairs, or they couldn't pay their medical bills, and their fans, let's say they have 500,000 fans, if they all donated $1 every month, that person in a wheelchair or bad off would have $500,000 a month coming to them, right? But the fans don't do that, right? The fans stop calling, the fans stop showing up. The fans don't know you anymore when you lose, right? So it's good to know when to get out the game and what you really want to get out the game. Like fighters like Miranda Maverick, I think she already has a game plan. She's gone to school, she's going for her PhD. She's in this game, and she's already said it before. Like, look, I want to fight Valentina before I end this career, because I'm not going to be in here forever. I'm not a career fighter. I'm not going to be taking punishment. I'm not just riding this thing to be a top 10 fighter. You want to take that chance, and if you can't get it, oh well, at least you tried, right? That's how you have to do. I think Roxanne, she kind of turned into a career fighter because she didn't even take a chance at Valentina Shevchenko, right? She never took that chance to try to get that belt. She just kind of was content where she was. And in the end, it didn't really pay off. I mean, maybe it did because that's what she just wanted to do. But when it all came down to it, I just feel like she could have probably banked more cash and then retired without having to fight Taylor Santos or Viviana Araújo whenever she beat Macy Barber, Antonina Shevchenko. Boom, she could have fought Valentina for a big bag and then called it quits, right? She wouldn't have to have taken these other fights in between where she started facing, some of these, grueling training camps where she was getting headaches, So, like I said, she just talked about a few different things, 50 fights being a good milestone, and, her brain health. I was just like, okay, yeah, that makes more sense now that, that she wants to call it quits, because we haven't really been seeing her go anywhere. And you really don't want to just become that punching bag. You know what I mean? Like, even with all her losses in the past, she was like a good test. She's still a very dangerous opponent, but if she's getting to this point where she's just fighting down and down and down, and she's getting these headaches, she will turn into a punching bag, eventually a vegetable. You know what I mean? So it's a good idea for her to leave the game. And like I said, it's advice a lot of fighters can follow. Hey, look, I know Joanne Calderwood is not in the same boat, but I mean, if she continues to not improve her defense and fight the way she's fighting and not evolving with the game, that's another way fighters get damaged and weeded out. So, if she's not doing the same, this is another video though, she could be facing the same problems. But as far as Roxanne making that choice, it's smart. It's smart to just say, hey, look, if I'm getting these headaches now, let me give it one more go, and we can go from there. Because like she said, she plans on giving it her all in this fight against Casey O'Neill. And she said she wants to try out some things. And, she's never tried out. She's going to try it all out on Casey O'Neill. She said she's going to go in there and try to knock Casey O'Neill out. So Casey got to be prepared for that. Let's take Casey O'Neill, for example. Casey O'Neill, also a fighter, want to come up, like some of these other, threats coming up. They also have to understand that, look, this ain't a long-term sport. Some of these fighters that get so comfortable, like I said, thinking, Dana White's got their back, the UFC's got their back, the fans got their back. But they all need to have that blueprint to say, this is what I want to get out of the sport. This is how long I'm going to stay in it. And this is what, this is what we're going for. And yeah, I think that's part of keeping yourself healthy in the game, knowing what you want in the sport. See, a lot of people just say, I want to fight, I want to fight, I want to fight. Okay, that's fine. But there has to be an end goal to it. If not, that's the end of your life. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.